Joining us now is a very heavy topic and very tough, but really thrilled to have with us Gianno Caldwell, author of the book "The Day My Brother Was Murdered," all about my home city. Well, I'm not from the city, or else I'm going to get called out for that. I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, to be clear. But Gianno, great to see you. I'm sorry for your loss. Tell our audience about your story.
Well, thank you. On June 24th, 2022, my life changed forever when my innocent baby brother, Christian, was murdered in Chicago on the South Side. And since then, I've been out for justice, not just for him, but for other families. And I created the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety at caldwellinstitute.org. Our organization seeks to go after George Soros-funded progressive prosecutors who just began to expand to mayoral and gubernatorial races. The book in and of itself, The Day My Brother Was Murdered, My Journey Through America's Violent Crime Crisis. On that day, June 24th, when I look back at it, I realized that 150 people were murdered throughout our country. People like James from Philadelphia, who was an Army veteran, who oftentimes would go out to a park at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning because he had PTSD. On June 24th, he went to that very park that he goes to every week, and there were kids there, some 10, 11, some 14, teenage age. He told them, "What are you doing out here this late? You should go home." And they beat him to death with a traffic cone. Or Catherine, who was a wife, mother, grandmother out in Texas. She was going home from her job as a chemical engineer on June 24th when a shootout took place on the highway. A drug deal had gone bad. The guy who was selling the drugs was looking to rip off the guy who was buying the drugs and vice versa. She ended up being a casualty on June 24th. Or baby Cecilia, who's from Chicago, was murdered on the same day as my brother, and it was miles away. Her family was in a car, her mother, father, her brother, 3 years old, and she was 4 months old, about to become a new age here. And she says, her brother says, my sister's bleeding. They thought it was fireworks. She got shot in the head. There's a lot of tragic stories in this book, and we talk about how bad it is regularly. People know that. But what do we do about it is the question. And I talk to people like Sean Hannity. I talk to people like Dr. Drew Pinsky about the mental health crisis in our country and the contributions to violence. I talk to people like John Walsh from America's Most Wanted, faith leaders, educators, because I needed to do something about this. When my brother was murdered, I felt hopeless, but I didn't feel powerless. I wanted to get out there and do something active to save lives. This book is a connection to the very work that we've been doing at the Caldwell Institute. And I hope people go out and get a copy of the book that President Donald Trump just recently endorsed.
So again, I'm so sorry for your loss. Walk us through what happened that day. Your brother was literally standing on the side of a street, minding his own business, and an SUV pulled up. Why was he murdered? What was the motive? This is what's so hard for people that don't live in big cities. What would drive someone to do something like this?
So to your point, Charlie, 3-4 men, African-American with dreads, got out the car. They began to fire into this crowd. There was multiple people shot. The detectives on the case repeatedly told me my brother was not the target of this hit. One of the theories of the case that the detectives and I discussed was surrounding a Facebook video. Two guys got into a fight. One was badly beaten up. It honestly looked like a movie. He got beat up so badly. One guy records it, puts it on Facebook. The guy who gets beat up badly decides that he wants to get revenge for this guy putting up this Facebook video. So 6 months prior, they try to murder him. He goes to California, comes back to Chicago thinking the coast is clear. And after being there for, I believe, 2 or 3 days, he's seen out. He's standing next to my brother. He's standing next to other individuals. And they literally shoot everyone, including a girl that was on the scene as well.
So, unfortunately, in Chicago, I know this for certain, only about half of all murders get solved. Half. Was this murder solved?
No, and your numbers are correct, half. But when you look at the Black population there, those numbers go down to about 30%. Why is that? Because in the African-American community, they don't believe in talking to the police or AKA snitching, which is a problem in and of itself. A lot of these issues, as you know, Charlie, are more often than not Black on Black. This is where the victim is Black, the perpetrator is Black, and then when it comes to the police investigating the crime, no one wants to talk. So where does that lead us? In the same place we started, another loss of life. Whereas in the city of Chicago, there's a ton of potential, but most of it lies in graveyards across the city.
So I want to make sure I'm clear. You are a nationwide spokesperson. You're so well respected. You have this incredible book. So your brother's murder is still unsolved?
Correct. So what I've been
That's
told by the
unbelievable
police,
to me. Like, I mean, because
I know I can't
it's
believe
not
it
like a
either.
lack of attention. So your brother's murderer likely walks free today.
So there's an individual who the police found in a retail store in Rosemont who was causing trouble. They arrested him. They found the murder weapon on him. They didn't know that it was connected to my brother's murder until way after when we got word. I actually found out exactly what happened because of where I work. And this particular individual was wanted for a number of other things, to the degree that the FBI got involved in the case. Now, from what I understand from my sources, that this guy is going to get life potentially for whatever else he's done. But this is a local case. It's not a national case, even though the FBI, I've spoken to them many times. I had to go out and lobby members of Congress, chairman of committees to get the FBI to take a look. They poured in some resources into this case. But if this guy is going to get life, there's no reason for him to talk and tell on other people that are involved because his life is already over. So I'm still seeking information. I have a $250,000 reward out there for information for anyone that knows what happened on June 24th, 2022 at 117 South Vincent Street in Chicago. And I'm going to keep on the case. I've looked at hiring detective private investigators to figure out exactly what happened, that we can get something done. As you know, Charlie, the Chicago police, a demoralized group of individuals based on the leadership in the city, the mayors who repeatedly demoralized the police there. They need 2,000 new detectives in order to handle their current workload because of the things that have happened in the city of Chicago. So it's caused me to get out and try to take things into my own hand to fight for my brother, because I'm absolutely want to have justice for my brother and bring to justice the people that were involved in this murder.
I mean, first of all, God bless you for doing that. And I just hope everyone understands that even with all of your connections and all, I mean, I'll happy to text Cash and Dan Bongino, they got their hands full, but this is of high importance. You still do not definitively know who killed your brother. And it's an important element here, though. Why is that? Is it that the culture is protecting potentially the victims? Because, for example, the clearance rate, which is the technical term, I'm from Wheeling, right? The suburbs, it's like 80 to 90%, right? If someone in Wheeling, Illinois would pull up and kill, someone, almost certainly it would get figured out. It's just amazing.
100%.
If you start having a higher clearance rate, that is a deterrent to crime. People would realize, but if you have a 50% chance of shooting somebody up, of not even getting arrested, well, then it's going to keep on happening.
Well, that brings about the rub. The politicians, the local elected officials, the progressives that run the city of Chicago. Why is it that they have a policy in place called the no chase policy, where police officers have to call their supervisors in order to get permission to pursue a suspect on foot or in car? By the time that you get the supervisor on the phone and they explain the situation, the person has gotten away. Why do they have a policy in place called the Safety Act, which ends cash bail in the state of Illinois for most offenses? They have a program there, ankle monitor program, where they have people who have been accused of murder on house arrest at home. Well, the Safety Act made changes to that particular program, whereas if your ankle monitor bracelet went out of range, the police would call you. They would come by your house and check on you to make sure you were there. Police are not allowed, get that word, not allowed, to go and check on a person in this program for 72 hours with the Safety Act in place. It is insane and insanity what has been going on in the city of Chicago. And a major part of it is the policies that have been in place. You couple that with Kim Foxx, who's no longer the district attorney there, but she was very soft on crime. This is a woman who took felony cases tens of thousands of them, and reduced them down to either misdemeanors or clear them at all, drop them. Tens of thousands we're talking about of cases. So where is it that you can actually go and get justice in the city of Chicago? You can't, especially if you're in one of these particular neighborhoods. And it used to be, as you know, Charlie, the violence and the crime was concentrated on the south side and the west side.
That's right.
Now people are robbing folks in Lincoln Park. There's shootouts in front of City Hall. There's shootouts in front of
on
the
Mag
Chicago
Mile.
Police Department.
They're holding people up on Magnificent Mile outside. I'm right outside
Exactly
the Wrigley
right.
building. I mean, at the Wrigley building, you have people from Hinsdale getting held up.
Yes, no, 100%. You have couples that are getting beat up by these quote unquote children that Brandon Johnson said we should not demonize. Well, if a kid, 14 or even younger, is willing to take someone's life, then to me, that's not a child anymore. That innocence has been gone. You got to try them as an adult, and you got to throw the full weight of the law onto them, because there's no other choice. If you don't have that deterrence, you don't have a society that's free. Law and order must be the rule of the day in any society. I live in Miami, Florida. It's very safe here. The police do an excellent job here, but we also have politicians who actually care about the people, and they're not concerned about their reelections in order to do the right thing.